elbow is fine right now. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Hopefully to hold up for 4 to 8 minutes tonight.
How about Gary Payton?
Woo. Another tough task, but I'm looking forward to it tonight.
All right, I was watching you in warm-ups, and I was looking to see if you could make the three. It looked like you could get it up there pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fine tonight. I just gotta have the confidence and take it.
All right, Sam. Thanks a lot.
I think.
All right, back to you, Dick and Chuck.
And Sam Cassell, the elbow is a major problem. Suffered a strained right elbow in the third quarter of game one. Took a cortisone shot. Did practice on Sunday, but it was the same elbow that forced him out of action for many games with arthroscopic surgery, and they need Sam Cassell and his outside shooting off the bench.
Well, in their two previous championships, he's been so important, not only of his outside shooting, but his ability to get in the lane and create. He's really the only guard that can do that, and if they're going to succeed against the Sonics, it's going to have to happen, and they've got to get Payton under control.
Hugh Evans, Paul Mahalik, and Bill Oakes, the officials, controlled by the Sonics. Sonics with 64 wins and 18 losses, the #1 team in the Western Conference this year. The Rockets were the 5th seeded team. They defeated the Lakers to get to this round, and the Sonics defeated Sacramento, although they were extended to 4 games, as was Houston. Detlef Schrempf posting up against Clyde Drexler, puts up the shot. Good defense by Drexler. And now the Rockets with the ball. Drexler finds Chucky Brown inside, and a fine defensive play by Irvin Johnson. Here's Kemp filling the lane, and he's fouled. Shawn Kemp is fouled and will go to the line to shoot 2.
Here's Shawn Kemp on the move like a runaway truck, and when he goes that hard, you've got to foul him to stop him. Problem on the other end, Chucky Brown was wide open, but shot blocking again. This club, the Seattle Sonics, don't look like a great shot or blocking club or a rebounding club, but they get the job done.
Foul was on Clyde Drexler, and Shawn Kemp, you saw 17 points, had his best shooting game of the playoffs, 7 for 11 from the field, and cleared 12 rebounds, also his top effort off the glass, and he gives the Sonics a 2-0 lead.
We'll have to take a look, see what the Rockets are going to do to try to get Hakeem involved and more isolated so they cannot get to the double team. That time they went strong side to weak side.
Kenny Smith, the point guard. He was scoreless in game 1 in 16 minutes. Olajuwon throws up an air ball from the baseline. That's exactly what the Sonics want. Here's Schrempf, open for 3. And none of the Sonics underneath the rebound by Olajuwon.
It doesn't matter where Hakeem is. He is going to see the quickest double team you'll see outside of Chicago.
Robert Horry firing up a 3, and he gives the Rockets a lead. Horry led Houston with 18 points. He had a good start, but like the rest of the Rockets, faded in the second half when they were outscored 64-31 after a tie in the first 2 quarters. Kemp working low post turnaround. He had a good opportunity.
Intimidated by Hakeem, who stands around that lane. One of the all-time great shot blockers in the NBA.
Again, they go to Olajuwon, the double team. He goes baseline, and he pushed for the foul, and that will be against Shawn Kemp, or make it Irvin Johnson.
And Rudy Tomjanovich related to us today. They want him to move quicker against that double team, not wait for it to happen.
For some reason, Rudy Tomjanovich's team sluggish coming off the Laker victory, as opposed to the Sonics, who also had to go to 4 games. Gary Payton picks up the personal foul here.
Take a look at this play. Hakeem going up, fakes. He gets Payton up over his shoulder. Could have been a serious fall. No problem for Payton.
Again, they go low, and the quick pass out from Olajuwon to Kenny Smith. Rebound into the hands of Payton, pushing it up. 2-on-2, and Payton scoops it up and draws the foul. So just as Shawn Kemp did moments ago, Payton taking it to the basket and drawing the personal foul.
What that tells you is the Houston Rockets are not getting back in transition, allowing gaps or seams in the defense. Players getting to the basket create fouls, and you've seen these 2 guys get them on the last 2 possessions.
Kenny Smith with the personal foul, and here is Gary Payton, who's been a 70% free throw shooter in the playoffs. That 33-point victory was the largest playoff margin in Seattle playoff history. Their previous high was against Dallas in the late 80s by 26 points, just as it was the worst setback suffered by the Rockets.
This Rocket team, though, is a resilient team, as they've proven year in and year out. They seem to ooze confidence that they can always come back. Let's see if this is one of the years that it can't happen.
They won the NBA title as a 6th seed, first team to do that last year, trying to win it again for the 3rd straight year as a 5th seed. Drexler double teamed inside, finds Chucky Brown at the top of the key and hits Chucky Brown with the jumper, and the Rockets lead by 2.
You watch carefully, watch the Sonics double team. They do it because they do it all year. They're so programmed. They probably do it better than anyone in the league, really.
Sean Kemp in the low post gets it out to Schrempf. Missed his first 3, hits this one. 13 points in game 1 for Detlef Schrempf. Ties the score at 5 as we're close to the 3-minute mark gone by in the opening quarter. Drexler, and he hits. Clyde Drexler only 3 for 19 from 3-point range. Cassell also has been struggling. Schrempf crashing the board and the rebound by Olajuwon. So Houston has to get it going from 3-point territory. Here's Horry. Kenny Smith working around Payton and Travers.
So often you see that happen. A player catches the ball, gets too excited, and walks with the basketball when he's got a wide open situation.
And this is a veteran player on a veteran team. Rockets lead by 3 with 8:35 remaining in the first quarter of game 2. Now they give it to Payton in the low post. Off the screen, Hersey Hawkins. Drexler the rebound. So far the Sonics have not been able to get a second shot offensively. Irvin Johnson is hemming in Horry in the corner. 12 on the shot clock. Collapsing around Olajuwon. Kenny Smith misses the 3, but that's what the Rockets are going to have to do to convert those opening shots.
But they get back so quickly, they've got to make the second pass in order to get the good shot in a little bit more time.
Sonics are 1 for 7 as Kemp missed from the corner. Olajuwon now coming into the low post position. Drexler gets it to him. Kemp and Irvin Johnson defending. Here's Robert Horry. Lost his dribble momentarily and a foul is called. And let's see if Gary Payton reached in for the foul. If he did, that will be his 2nd personal.
That's a real problem for the Sonics. Here's Horry getting into the lane. Looks like he got almost all ball, and then of course Payton gets him on the arm when he's trying to pick up the loose ball.
George Karl, nothing to change as far as he's concerned after that first game effort. Olajuwon missing from outside.
And George Karl will live with Payton. 2 quick fouls. A lot of guys would take him out. He has a lot of confidence that he can stay in the game.
Kemp in the lane is fouled. You're right. Against the Sonics, he played him with 4 personal fouls, kept him in, and then he picked up his 5th.
I like to call them those inadvertent fouls, the ones you don't count on. The player's smart enough to stay away. Sometimes he gets caught in an awkward position defensively, has to reach in, or something to that effect, catches one. He doesn't mean to commit.
That was something that Olajuwon failed to do in that Houston loss to the Lakers. Detlef Schrempf hits a 3. Schrempf with his first from downtown ties the score at 8. Nearly 5 minutes elapsed in the first quarter. Drexler is guarded by Hersey Hawkins. Clyde the Glide hasn't been himself. He's been hampered by injury, and we have an illegal defense called against the Sonics to the disbelief of George Karl. That's the first of the game.
I'll tell you why that happened. They are in the first game. They came early on that when you're not allowed to double team a guy without a ball. Without the ball, this time he comes. Looks pretty legal to me. I'm not sure. He's allowed to go double team, and that's exactly what he did. Left the offensive player open, but they called it. George unhappy with it.
Houston Rockets losing all 4 regular season games to the Seattle Sonics. They have not won in the last 10 outings. Wide open. Chucky Brown with the offensive rebound by Olajuwon. 5 rebounds by Olajuwon already in this game. So he's come out as a different guy. And the lay-in by Brown, and it was Kenny Smith who set it up to give the Rockets a 2-point lead.
Kenny Smith with great penetration, and with Payton with 2 fouls, you should go at him every time you get a chance.
Payton looking for an opening. Pick and roll the count. The 2 stars in a pick and roll classically executed to tie it again at 10.
You're right. He got deep into the defense. take 2 dribbles and dance around. He got in there and made the play.
Kenny Smith with a fake on Schrempf, leaving Olajuwon at the top to hit. So Olajuwon now with his first basket, but he has more rebounds already in this game than he amassed in game 1 on Saturday. 12-10, Houston leading. Tight game throughout. Double team on Shawn Kemp, and Houston's defense forces a turnover.
Obviously, the Rockets playing with a lot more energy in this game, but they did this in the first half the other night.
Morey gets it inside to Chucky Brown, and Brown scores. Chucky Brown
had that same opportunity early, went up too soon. This time he pump fake, allowed him to get the ball up and in the basket.
Brown with 6 points leads the Rockets, who are up by 4. Payton open on the screen from Schrempf, misses a 3, and the rebound taken down by Chucky Brown, who was the only Rocket to play in all 82 games this year, and no one else was even close to him. An injury-riddled season for the Rockets. Drexler from Smith, and Kenny Smith has done a terrific playmaking job in the early going.
You're exactly right, and Drexler known for that kind of play where he reverses and gets the lob.
5 assists for Kenny Smith and a 6-point Rocket lead. But Chucky Brown and Clyde Drexler have been the beneficiary of some fine passes inside.
Let's take a look. Hakeem working to get offensive position, goes to the baseline, not quickly, gets position, played by Johnson. Look at here, 1 and 2 guys coming at him. That time he lost it out of bounds, but there's going to be one doubling. It'll be a different guy, could be from the top of the circle, could be from the entry pass, but a third guy will be coming most of the night.
Hakeem Olajuwon held to 6 points in 34 minutes, a playoff low, only 4 rebounds. And Gary Payton has gotten a technical foul here. And Kenny Smith will go to the line to shoot the tee. So Payton, who picked up 2 quick fouls, now technical against him.
Obviously arguing about a call that happened ages ago in a basketball game. Not necessary, but Paul Mahalik, Billy Oakes say no.
Sonics trail by 7. Score was tied at 10, and Houston ran off 7 in a row. Payton guarded by Drexler. Morey on Schrempf, and illegal defense now called against Houston. So each team has been hit with an illegal D. And I'll tell you one thing about Rudy Tomjanovich, he knows what his team has achieved the last couple of years, and there is no sense of panic or urgency despite the blowout in game 1 from him.
No, you're exactly right. He's got a lot of trust and confidence in his players and what they can do, and he's a very straightforward thinker, a lot of clarity, and it pays off with this particular club.
3-second violation called against the Sonics. Last year, Houston lost to Utah in game 1 in the first round and won in 5. And then they dropped the first 2 against the Phoenix Suns. Fell down 3 games to 1 before winning that series in 7. So this team has known how to respond from adversity. Looped it into Olajuwon. Irvin Johnson did a good job of fronting. Houston still has it. Here is Olajuwon. Double team on Ori. This is a very quick defensive team. As you mentioned, they can recover in a hurry.
Outstanding. You don't get a lot of good looks.
Here is Drexler firing a 3. And Gary Payton, who was on the ground, found the ball come to him.
Right place and right time.
Kemp with a Johnson screen, and Olajuwon the rebound. So the Sonics continue to struggle, and Kemp as well. Shawn is 1 for 4 from the field. Under 4 minutes remaining, first quarter. The Rockets by 7. Pass to Brown, tipped, and last touched by Shawn Kemp.
In almost every other year, Olajuwon has been able to split double teams. They are so quick, he has a difficult time getting a shot.
Sam Perkins and Nate McMillan check in for the Sonics.
Here's the last guy to check in. He finally gets the ball. But look here. Look how quickly that double team. Look how they have toe-to-toe, both hands up. Makes it very difficult for him to get a shot.
It's going to be very tough for the Rockets to contend with that throughout this series. Very tough to beat quickness. So Perkins and McMillan in the game. An offensive threat and a defensive stalwart in Nate McMillan. Here's Payton firing away for 3. And off the rim. The Sonics are rushing their shots on offense and are shooting only 3 for 12 from the field, trailing still by 7.
Well, in the opening game of this series, everything went down, and then you start to believe it's going to happen every night. Just doesn't happen that way.
Kenny Smith working against Payton, who has 2 fouls. Good feed inside of Brown, deflected away. 1 on the shot clock, and Olajuwon gets it off, but misses at the buzzer.
Surprisingly, Smith has been able to get in the lane on Gary Payton. If he can do that, he can create for this club.
Sam Perkins with a 3. So Perkins from downtown. They have a lot of defensive reserves, the Sonics do, but the one man they bring in offensively who has size is Sam Perkins. Timeout with the Rockets leading by 4. For the best defensive player of the year, and before the game that went to Gary Payton, who led the NBA in steals this season. A tremendous effort. Chuck talked about what he does offensively, and a lot of that is off his great defense, Chuck.
He's an outstanding defensive player, has great anticipation and great hands, knows where the ball is. And here he gets his NBA defensive player.
Will you please
Nate McMillan presented the award to Gary Payton. And the cheers of the crowd here at the Key Arena moments before the game started. Rockets leading by 4. Houston has turned it over only once against the quick-handed Seattle defense, last touched by the Sonics.
They went to a structured play, went directly into Hakeem, but the double team was so quick.
Rockets have yet to make a substitution with 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Drexler goes out to Ori with 1 on the clock. Fired that off the glass. And once again, Seattle does a good job of forcing Houston to force a shot. Down by 4 on the Sonics. Nate McMillan is guarded by Sam Cassell, who's checked into the game. And we'll check to see how Cassell's elbow is. Kemp inside, gets the roll. Sean Kemp with 6 points to lead Seattle, and it's a 2-point Houston lead.
Not necessarily known for great moves around the basket, but his athleticism and his quickness gets that one off.
Here's a steal by Gary Payton. Defensive player of the year, lays it in and draws the foul.
And just like that, back in the game.
Very hard to match up with Gary Payton at both ends of the floor.
The pass actually wasn't a bad pass, except it was one-handed. The anticipation is what made the steal. Guys who pay attention to films prior to games in the shoot-arounds are guys that come up with those kind of steals. Some players really analyze it and say, where can I get 1 or 2 steals on a given night?
So Payton is on the line. The foul was against Robert Ori. Misses the free throw. And Hakeem Olajuwon on the bench. Mark Bryant, who himself suffered a tightness in the right hamstring in the final game against the Lakers, has not been 100%. Chucky Brown misses from the perimeter. We're tied at 7. Rockets scored 7 in a row, and the Sonics answered with 7 points of their own. Less than a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. Here's Perkins, now in the low post. Good pass to Schrempf over Mark Bryant. But a lot of those shots are not falling for the Sonics, at least in the first quarter of this game, too.
And yet they are tied, and the Houston Rockets playing without Hakeem right now, getting a rest, probably will enter the game at the beginning of the second quarter.
Olajuwon on the bench with 2 points, and Cassell's fall away. Cassell said if he didn't feel he had strength in the elbow, he could do other things and penetrate. Let's see if he can be effective as a scorer. Payton misses on the foray to the hoop. And now the Rockets looking to try to break the tie. Cassell leaves it for Drexler, who scores. So that's some of the other things that Sam Cassell could do.
Yeah, gets in the lane, and Drexler makes a very tough shot. He has that ability where he bounces off of bodies and can still connect. Most players can't connect when they start bouncing.
Drexler with 7 points leads the Rockets. McMillan. And a foul inside as both Cassell and Payton collide underneath. And that'll be on Cassell, his first personal foul.
There was a possibility of that inadvertent foul on Payton. He got away with it.
Vincent Askew checks in for the Sonics.
Take a look right here. Actually, Kemp actually knocked Cassell over. Cassell still is wondering what happened.
So Askew comes in, one of the top defensive players that the Sonics bring from their bench, as Gary Payton goes to the bench with 2 personal fouls and 3 points thus far.
We were talking about it before the game, but Askew is so much like Mario Elie. They're almost mirror images of each other as to what they can do. Tough, aggressive defense, can score the ball both outside and inside, and very attractive players coming off the bench.
And speaking of Mario Elie, on cue, getting set to come into the game, 9 points and 3 rebounds in game 1. Elie, who started and performed brilliantly against the Orlando Magic in last year's series sweep in the NBA Finals for the Rockets.
Missed 35 games this year with a fractured radius right arm, which took him a little bit out of this season, trying to get back to past form.
Rockets injury riddled this year. Called up a lot of players from the CBA, 5 to be exact. And here they are in the conference semifinals. Mario Elie throws up off the top. He must have thought George Murasan was underneath or something. There's a 3 by Nate McMillan. And that's what McMillan can do defensively and hit the 3 as the desperation shot goes off the glass, and the Sonics, who trailed most of this first quarter, will have a 22-19 lead after 1. Olajuwon doing the job off the glass, only 2 points as Nate buries one from downtown. NBA playoffs here in Seattle. You're looking at Elliott Bay, beautiful Pacific Northwest. Scene of the first 2 games of the Western Conference Semifinal. We're at Key Arena, where the Sonics lead 22-19 as we start the second quarter. The shooting down for both teams, as the Rockets shot 33% and the Sonics not much better at 37%.
Seattle getting to the free throw line 7 times, making 5, and fast break points 9, crucial.
Mario Elie working against Detlef Schrempf, the double team on him. And there is Robert Horry hitting from 3-point territory. So Horry now with 6 points. Drexler with 7 leads the Rockets. Sean Kemp tops the Sonics with 8. And into the game is Sam Mack, who played at the University of Houston. Came out of the CBA and signed to a couple of 10-day contracts. Detlef Schrempf travels as we check in with Dick Versace.
Well, a couple of subplots developing. George Karl is telling Gary Payton, when you're in the ball game, even though he's not in now, he's saying, be aggressive, take the ball with the basket. On the other end, Rudy Tomjanovich is saying, if you got a chance to take Payton to the basket and pick up that 3rd, do it. Unfortunately, he's not there right now. Back to Chuck and Dick.
But fortunately for the Rockets, he's not there right now, Dick. But thank you. Here's McMillan, who's got Kemp, Perkins, Askew, and Schrempf for the Sonics. Knocked away, and there's McMillan. Hits another 3. He's amazing.
Every game we have had with this club, he has made his first 3 out of the box, and now he's had his second. Night in and night out, he makes that shot.
Came into the game hitting 64% of his 3s in the playoffs. Here is Mack, and he hits a 3. So Sam Mack, who was a 40% shooter from downtown in the regular season, answers the 3 to tie it again at 25. Sam Cassell guarding McMillan, and McMillan gets it inside to Kemp, and a pushing foul. Not in the act of shooting, and that'll be on Mark Bryant, number 1 on Bryant.
Ran the pick and roll and just lobbed it inside because Mark Bryant had his head turned, but he did recover enough to strip him in the lane.
Percy Hawkins will replace Sean Kemp in the Sonics lineup. So Seattle will have a small lineup right now with Perkins, their tallest player, and 3 guards along with Detlef Schrempf. There's Drexler on the Houston bench. So Seattle playing small. McMillan, 3 for 3 from downtown. He has 9 points and shooting brilliantly throughout the playoff series, and a 3-point Sonic lead again.
Yeah, normally he's a 38% shooter for the year, but in the playoffs, he just can't miss that 3-point shot.
Bryant going in strong with the short hook shot. Bryant, a big factor in one of the Rockets' victories over the Lakers in the first round. Sonics by 1, they have the ball. Less than 3 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Dick Stockton, Chuck Daly, Dick Versace with you here at the Key Arena. Game 2 of the best of 7, with Seattle having won big in game 1.
Bryant playing with a calf injury that he isn't 100%, but playing effective enough.
Timeout. The lead is 1 for Seattle. Tomorrow for another playoff doubleheader. 7 Eastern, you'll see game 1 of the Jazz and the Spurs, and then at 9:30 Eastern, game 2 of the Knicks and the Bulls. That's tomorrow night on TNT.
Take a look at this double team. I'm not quite sure why they're double teaming Perkins, but watch. Cassell comes down, doesn't recover quick enough. Nate McMillan way out to the old three-point line, and the way he's shooting them in the playoffs, can't give him that kind of a shot.
McMillan with 3 3-pointers in 2.5 minutes. 12 for 17 in the playoffs. Unconscious is Nate McMillan from downtown. So the Rockets down by 1. They have Cassell, Mack, Horry, Bryant, and Mario Elie, and now we'll have a technical foul called against the Sonics. That is the second illegal defense called against George Karl's team.
Because they are so programmed to go double team, they go early sometimes, and that's where they get caught. But you know what? For all the times they succeed with it, coach has got to be very, very happy with it. It means you're really aggressive defensively.
Sam Cassell with the technical to tie it up at 28-28. And the Rockets will inbound. Olajuwon has been out, by the way, almost 5 minutes. Has scored 2 points, 8 rebounds, and the Rockets hanging in there without their big gun. Of course, Payton also on the bench for the Sonics, as is Sean Kemp. Here's the loop inside to Mark Bryant, deflected away by Perkins. He got a piece of it, and Hersey Hawkins controlling for Seattle. Sonics finally got over the jinx of losing in the first round the last 2 years, and they defeated Sacramento in a struggle to get to the semifinals. Turnaround by Askew, cleared by Bryant.
Mark Bryant has been fronted on every possession and can't get open on the post-up. Therefore, they can't get into any kind of offense because they want to get the ball in, get the double team. If they're going to double team, they're staying home on Bryant. He has to go one-on-one.
Bryant with a turnaround. That's his second shot from inside the paint as Olajuwon comes to the scoring table. So Hakeem is coming back shortly, and the Rockets again lead by 2. And trying to pass inside was Nate McMillan, and it was last touched by the Rockets as Olajuwon checks back in the game, and a foul now has been called against Mario Elie as Payton comes back as well. Dick Versace.
George Karl spoke to his team and said, do you want to run without Payton in there? We need to run. I looked down at the scorer's table. Guess who's in the ball game? Gary Payton's back. Look for him to start running. Back to Chuck and Dick.
That's what happens when I'm surrounded by coaches, Chuck. You know, you and Dick Versace.
Advice, advice, advice.
That's right. You guys say it before it happens. The Rockets actually had an advantage of 2 points while Olajuwon was on the bench for more than 5 minutes. Hawkins off the screen. Pick and roll. Askew won't shoot over Bryant, but McMillan will and hit again. Amazing. 4 from downtown from Nate McMillan, who is 13 of 18. That's right, in the playoffs from 3-point territory.
You can't defend that shot. When he's going to make that, you can't get deep enough and recover. You just don't play a guy to continually make shots like that.
Sonics by 1. Here is Bryant, and a foul on the hack. Askew committing the foul on Mark Bryant.
This is kind of an unusual lineup for the Houston Rockets. When you've got Bryant in there and Hakeem, it gives them a little bit more of a problem, and they've got a double post-up, and Bryant has been effective tonight on the low box.
So Rudy Tomjanovich going with size here, and you wonder when George Karl is going to try to match that. He still has Sean Kemp on the bench.
The only problem on the other end, you don't rotate as well defensively when you've got 2 big guys in there. That'll allow wide open shots for the Sonics if they get any kind of a post-up.
Kemp, who scored 8 points in the first quarter, yet to see action here in the second. 7:47 remaining in the second quarter. And Mark Bryant looking to break the tie. Played previous 7 years with the Portland Trail Blazers. Scoreless in 13 minutes in game 1. But Bryant now with 6 points. And Houston up by 1.
This game very similar to the first game, 44-44 at half. Looks like it'll be close to that coming into this game.
It was the second half where the Sonics really blew out the Rockets. And a hard pass from Perkins to Askew, and that is the 5th turnover committed by Seattle.
There's Hakeem having to play Perkins, who moves on the outside, has to come outside, takes him off the defensive board.
Remember Payton in there with 2 personal fouls guarding Mack. Here's Cassell penetrating, trying to get it to Bryant. And an offensive foul called against Sam Cassell as Perkins slow getting up. That is the 2nd on Cassell. Sean Kemp back in the game for the Sonics. Replaces Hersey Hawkins, so the Sonics now go big with their lineup.
Cassell a little bit out of control, and it shows the great rotation of the Sonics getting in position to pick up that offensive foul.
Last 12 points by the Sonics have come as a result of 4 3-pointers from Nate McMillan. Askew from downtown hits. For the last 15 points for Seattle have been from downtown, and the Sonics regain the lead by 2.
Askew a 33% shooter. McMillan a 38% shooter from 3-point range.
Bryant with a turnaround. And Askew coming out of the pack. Sonics are 7 of 11 for threes. Kemp, season opening, goes in and an offensive foul against Sean Kemp. That is his first of the game.
Every game we've seen Seattle play, he's picked up at least one of those where he drives into the defense, offensive foul.
In the first half. The shooting, I guess they should only try threes to play their averages in this game. Chuck?
21 of their 34 points coming from
Seattle.
3-point land.
64% to 44%. From 2-point range, they're only in the 30s.
Somehow it always evens out, though.
Olajuwon, who has scored 2 points thus far. The Sonics bench, perfect from downtown, 18 points. And Frank Burkowski, who hit a big 3 in the victory over Sacramento in game number 3, has checked into the game for Seattle. The double on Olajuwon, shooting over Burkowski and hitting from the baseline. 2 for 7 for Olajuwon, but that ties it at 34.
And a very, very tough shot. They did a great job of double teaming him, forcing him to the baseline. He came through the double team and scored it.
So Burkowski, who's that physical presence, as you mentioned at the top, but also can pop from 3 when they need it. Bringing Bryant out from the hoop. Payton looking to penetrate. Fall away, and a pretty good defensive job that time by Mario Elie on Gary Payton.
Very solid, kept him in front of him, made him hit a shot over him. That's the best you could do with Gary Payton.
Again, Olajuwon. Elie going in low to Bryant. Bryant has a mismatch going for him, and the basket counts at a foul. He saw McMillan on him, and Mark Bryant went strong to the hoop. He has an impressive 8 points so far in this first half.
Watch Hakeem right here, works to get the ball, working hard. Burkowski fighting him. Watch here, gets double teamed, spins to the baseline. You talk about a tough shot, particularly from that angle. And Mark Bryant, the fact that they're both playing on the box makes it difficult for the opposition, the Sonics, to double both of them and not leave someone open if they swing the ball.
Bryant, who was 6 for 7 in the playoffs before that miss. Rockets lead by 2. That last foul was on Frank Burkowski. Ball out of bounds, last touched by Houston. And Clyde the Glide coming back in. Drexler had 7 points in the first quarter, and he's gotten a pretty good rest. And going out is Sam Mack. So it's Bryant, Drexler, Cassell, Elie, and Olajuwon. Kemp working his way in, and an offensive foul. And a good call by Bill Oakes. The elbow by Sean Kemp. And the second personal now against Kemp. 2 offensive fouls.
Watch Olajuwon hold his position, move his feet, keeps his position, and there's a little elbow to create space. Billy Oakes catches him.
Rockets with the ball in a 2-point lead. 5:15 to go in the first half. Cassell firing up a quick 3 and hits. So Sam Cassell, who told Dick Versace that he feels all right to shoot the threes with his elbow, gives the Rockets a 5-point lead. And a foul. Houston is on a 7-0 run right now.
Sean Kemp coming quickly down floor to establish low post position. Bryant, in order to stop the play, had to foul him.
Mark Bryant with his second personal, and Schrempf will inbound. In low to Kemp. This is the short hook. Olajuwon with the rebound. That's 9 for Hakeem. 5-point lead for the Rockets, looking to match their biggest lead of the game. Cassell from the baseline can't convert. Gary Payton leaves it for McMillan. Bounce pass, Burkowski all night to shoot the three, and he hits. Burkowski, and that's the 8th basket from downtown for the Sonics.
It all started with what I thought was a bad shot by Kenny Smith. They had settled in very comfortably. He takes a quick shot. Drexler couldn't stop the ball. It allowed Burkowski to be wide open on the deep corner.
Drexler facing the hoop, short with it. And now the Sonics with a chance to tie it up. They were down by 5 a moment ago. In low to Kemp, the double team. And now they give up the double. Rockets trying to recover the way the Sonics do. Here's Gary Payton trying to draw the foul. And a foul is called as Bryant and Gary Payton collide on the ground.
Interesting call, because Gary Payton went to the basket a little bit out of control, and I'm not sure quite how all of this happened.
Loose ball foul against Mark Bryant, and Payton.
Let's take a look here.
Up.
See what happens. Here comes Payton going to the basket. Feels like he's going to get a shot. Bangs. Oh, I see what happened. Bryant stepped out of the way and allowed Payton to fall to the floor. In reality, not sure where the foul was called.
Payton is still on the floor. Mark Bryant picks up his 3rd personal foul.
And in these kind of situations, the opposing coach, which is George Karl, in terms of defensive play, is going to say there must have been a dirty play. There must have been something wrong there. But take a look at the bottom of the screen on this replay. Here comes Payton. Feels he's wide open. He's holding his position, Bryant is. He goes right over the top of him. He leaned under him a little bit, but Gary Payton is up and walking.
That's good news for the Sonics. We'll be right back. A few moments ago, Frank Furtado working on Gary Payton, who must realize, Chuck, that your former player is in our studio tonight, right?
Yeah, Rick Mulhorn, this was his prominent position in every game that I ever recall. When he was out, never sat on the bench, always on the floor.
Payton is up and back in the game. 2-point lead for the Rockets. Sonics looking to tie it up. Percy Hawkins in low to Sean Kemp, and Olajuwon with good defense inside along with Robert Horry. Kemp 2 for 7 from the field, has 8 points, but nothing here in the second quarter. And an offensive foul called against Hakeem. That is his 1st personal foul.
Foul within confines of the double team.
Under 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Sonics led by 3 after a quarter. The Rockets lead by 2 now. They are led by Mark Bryant off the bench with 8 points, but he has 3 personal fouls. And no one picked up Detlef Schrempf, who sallied in from the baseline.
A very tough matchup for Clyde Drexler. Detlef Schrempf has size, has some brilliant moves getting to the basket. He's going to need some help for the weak side.
Drexler guarded by Schrempf. Olajuwon in the corner. Hawkins picking up Mario Ellie. And here's Robert Horry. He hits a 3. Horry now with 3 from downtown. 9 points to lead the Rockets, who are up by 3 points, 42-39. Loose ball into the hands of Drexler. So both teams are sizzling from downtown in this first half. Sam Cassell feeding Horry, who gets the foul and almost got the basket as well. Let's go to Dick Versace.
Well, Dick and Chuck, when Mark Bryant fell on Gary Payton, it was the weight of Mark Bryant that hurt his back. Frank Furtado, the trainer, says he's got some lower lumbar pain. He's going to take a closer look at it at half. Back to you, Dick and Chuck.
All right, well, Payton is all right, but not so much for Sean Kemp, who has picked up his 3rd personal foul, sending Robert Horry to the free throw line. Horry shooting only 47% in the playoffs after 78% in the regular year. Kept to the bench with 3 and replaced by Nate McMillan.
This is one of the problems when you have one of those easy missed opportunities for 2. Now you got to go and deliver at the foul line.
1 out of 2. Inexplicable how Horry's free throw shooting has plummeted in the postseason, but it has, and the Rockets lead by 4 with 2 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the first half. Payton fires for 3 and hits. Gary Payton coming back after getting knocked down and gets his first 3 of the game.
Sonics do an exceptional job of throwing cross court, getting diagonal passes that are effective.
Olajuwon to Clyde Drexler. He beat the double team with the quick pass that time.
Defensive player, weak side, turns head, easy basket.
Rakowski with another 3. They ought to just play from the three-point line out the way it's going in this game, as Seattle has now hit 8 straight from downtown, and we're tied again at 45. Pass to Olajuwon. He'll get the basket and go to the line, and a chance for a 3-point play for Hakeem the Dream.
This is the fronting of the post. Holds Rakowski off, gets the lob. Too small on the weak side, can't stop it.
The foul called against McMillan, his first, and Olajuwon, who had his worst production of his playoff career with 6 points, and they have called a lane violation, so the free throw is nullified, and the Sonics with a chance to tie, down by 2. 1:35 remaining in the first half. Payton picked up by Horry. Ellie guarding Schrempf, and they want to take advantage of that matchup. Schrempf leaves it to Payton. Pretty play by the Sonics. Gary Payton.
When they work that 2-man game on the strong side, and they hide the 2-guard over there, it makes it very difficult to play. They switched, couldn't handle it.
12 ties in this game. Horry with a fake. Amazingly how quick the Sonics recover to guard the man on the perimeter. 6 on the shot clock. Sam Cassell is fouled and will go to the line. Now let's see who that foul is called on. It's on Payton, and 3 on Gary Payton. So George Karl's 2 stars, Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton, each have picked up 3 personals here in the first half.
Cassell fake went inside, basically got fouled from behind, but it's a problem, and George Karl taking no chance with 1:01 to go. He's going to get him out of there, so he does not take a chance on picking up his 4th foul.
Cassell misses the front end. Coming up on the Reebok halftime report, Ernie Johnson and Cheryl Miller are joined by Rick Mahorn. And they'll have all the highlights plus a preview of the Knicks-Bulls Game 2 that's coming up on the Reebok halftime report. Cassell converts 1 out of 2. Sam has 5 in the game, and the Rockets lead by 1 with under a minute remaining and 20 on the shot clock for the Sonics. This is the first half. Game 2, Seattle winning game 1 impressively, and Rakowski lost it off his knee out of bounds. Turns it over to the Rockets.
Great give-and-go play. It was a isolation for Schrempf. Rakowski made the cut, but a great defensive play from behind.
And a 20-second timeout called by Houston. They'll have the full clock at 49.7 remaining in the half.
One of the things the Sonics are doing, they're really fronting the post. Now, I'm surprised that Houston hasn't moved their post players up the lane a little bit, set up a little bit higher on the lane, so that the fronting gives them baseline action and space to get open.
What do you see the Rockets doing quicker to get out of the big octopus defense that they face from Seattle in game 1?
I think they're a little bit more settled tonight. They seem to know where to be to get good shots, and they've been going through this for a lot of years. They'll find ways to score. Whether it'll be enough to end this game remains to be seen. We've got 24 and 49.
Well, remember, we were tied at 44 at the half of game 1 on Saturday before the blowout. Kenny Smith back in there along with Drexler, Ellie, Horry, and Olajuwon. Mario Ellie throws up an air ball on a 3-point attempt. And a Sonic foul. Let's see if Vincent Askew committed it. It did. It was his 2nd personal foul. That is known as a bad foul at this stage.
Yeah, it was an air ball, and
So Ori will be shooting 2. Gets the bounce for the first free throw. This is an experienced Houston Rocket team that knows how to win championships when they don't have home court advantage. 1 out of 2 for Ori, and the Rockets lead by 2, and the clock differential is about 9 seconds. Waning stages of this first half. Schrempf left open for the left-handed hook shot. Ties the score, and the Rockets huge for the last shot.
Defensive mistake. Both guys follow out, leaving Schrempf wide open.
Throws it away. And now they're claiming that it was last touched by one of the Sonics' shoes, and so 3.8. Sam Perkins quickly comes into the game for Seattle, replacing Schrempf. So another big man inside. 3.8 to go in the half. Drexler will inbound. Olajuwon fires it up and hits. Hakeem Olajuwon with Sonics all over him, very nearly fouled, and the shot will not count. So Hakeem winds up with 8 points, and right now Askew has to be separated from Robert Ori, and the officials quickly break that up. Ori had 11 points to lead the Rockets. McMillan with 12 with his 4 3-pointers. The crowd booing the Rockets, but they'll go to intermission with a 51-49 lead. So after trailing by 3 after 1, 4 from downtown, 12 points, the leading score for the Sonics. And this is under the amazing but true category, Chuck, but Olajuwon still has not shot a free throw in the first 2 games of this series.
Well, give credit to the Sonics defense. Great double team, but not fouling. But you know, this first game of this series was exactly the same, except it was 44-44.
Kenny Smith leaves it out for Drexler. Olajuwon shooting from the free throw line, misses. Tipped away by Ori out of bounds. And it's still going to be Houston ball. Gary Payton is out there as we start the second half. Dick, what do you have?
I talked to Gary coming out of the locker room. I asked him, are you all right? He said, I'm okay, but he was dragging a leg. I said, is it hurting? He said, it is hurting. Officially, it's a strained lower back, but he's going to give it a go. Back to Dick and Chuck.
All right, thank you, Dick. So Smith, Ori, Olajuwon, Chucky Brown, and Drexler, and a foul called against the Sonics to start this third quarter, and it's against Hersey Hawkins.
You know, watching Payton in his first couple of series, he is dragging, he's struggling. I would have to think that Smith will take the ball at him, make him play defense, don't let him rest.
Same 5 who started the game for the Sonics in there, including Irvin Johnson, Hawkins, Payton, Schrempf, and Sean Kemp. Olajuwon misses the shot, comes out to Hawkins, and here is Detlef Schrempf driving in. He's had several layups or baby hooks in the lane in this contest. Ties it at 51 with nearly a minute going by.
He was fortunate that time because Olajuwon fell down at half court and wasn't there to block the shot. Still holding his hand. Looked like he got a burn on the palm of his hand.
Meanwhile, Clyde Drexler called for his second foul. Seattle looking to regain the lead. They led by 3 at the first quarter mark and trailed by 2 at the half. This is game 2, best of 7. Series moves to Houston for games 3 and 4, Friday and Sunday. Sean Kemp in the lane. That's his first point since the first quarter, and he has 10. Sonics in front, 53-51. Here's Olajuwon against the double team, leaves it open for Drexler, and he hits from downtown. Second 3-point basket by Drexler, who now has 12 points to lead the Rockets. Kemp looked like he wanted to pass. No one was inside, and it was last touched by the Rockets. So it'll be Seattle ball.
Hakeem Olajuwon on the first 2 possessions offensively had wide open shots, didn't get them, gave up a field goal to Kemp. Not quite the energy that he had coming out of the box in the first half.
Schrempf, turnaround. And Hakeem with his 11th rebound. He had only 4 in game 1. Drexler with his familiar drive to the hoop, but nothing there. Well, the Rockets lead by 1. A little more than 2 minutes have elapsed here in the 3rd quarter. It was in game 1 where the Sonics went to town to the tune of 64-31 to blow out Houston. Here is Kemp again inside, and he's fouled. And Olajuwon picks up his 2nd.
Kept being very, very aggressive, taking the ball right to Olajuwon, who's one of the great shot blockers. We talked about it early. Neither of these clubs playing very emotional at this point. Normally in a game like this, you see just a hair more emotion.
Shawn Kemp on the free throw line. He was suspended because of an altercation in the last regular season game and did not play in game 1 against the Sacramento Kings. Struggled early in the series, but came up big toward the end as the Sonics won in 4.
You wonder about his balance on that one. He must have took a step over the line before the ball hit the back rim. Let's see if he does it again.
1 out of 2 for Kemp. And we're tied at 54. That is our 17th tie in this game. Olajuwon wants the ball, or he didn't get it to him. Now he does, and Hakeem gets the basket and a foul. Olajuwon with his first points of the 2nd half, and the foul called against Irvin Johnson. 2 on Johnson.
Watch Olajuwon gets the ball on the post up. He'll take on 2 and 3 guys. When he's on his game, he'll find a way to get it to the rim.
And Hakeem going to the free throw line for the first time in the series. And it looks like he has lived at the line the way he stroked that one. And the Rockets up by 3. Biggest lead for Houston was in the first quarter. They led by 7, only to see the Sonics tie it up with 7 straight points. Seattle's biggest margin was 3. Tipped away, Drexler, he'll get it. And he's got Chucky Brown, leaves it for Smith. Smith for 3, and Kenny Smith, who did not score in 60 minutes in game 1, gives the Rockets a 6-point lead.
Yeah, Drexler makes a steal, gets it to Chucky Brown. Chucky in the middle, wasn't too sure of handling it. Got to Smith, the crowd wanted to walk.
Percy Hawkins off the screen, short, and Drexler with a rebound. So the Rockets can open up their biggest lead of the game if they can score here. Kenny Smith penetrating. Hakeem out to Brown. Olajuwon misses from long range. Percy Hawkins clears for the Sonics.
Both teams very controlled offensively.
Out of bounds, still Sonics ball.
Right now the Sonics need to go to someone who can score, go to a go-to situation, get a field goal.
Payton into Kemp, slapped away. Last touch by the Rockets. 5 seconds on the shot clock as Seattle will inbound.
Great hands by Olajuwon. Kemp hand bothering him from the hip.
Schrempf fires up a quick 3 and hits. He had Robert Horry in his face, almost off balance. Detlef Schrempf now with his 2nd 3-pointer, and he has 14 points to cut the lead to 3. Sonics have hit 9 straight threes. Here's Horry, and he hits from 3s. This is a spectacular long-range shooting contest with both teams out of sight from 3-point territory. 6-point Rocket lead. You ever seen a game with both teams hitting 3s as effectively?
Well, you wonder when it's going to end because it can't stop. There's a 2-pointer by Johnson, but you wonder if the percentages can hold up for the length of the game.
We keep saying that, Chuck, but they keep holding up. 63-59, the Rockets by 4 against the double team. Pass into the corner, and there's another 3. Kenny Smith with his 2nd. So Horry has 4. Drexler and Smith each with 2. Sonics keep it going. Out to Schrempf. Guess what? Another 3. Percy Hawkins.
And we keep talking about people can't shoot in the game anymore. When they moved that line in and went to the post up, you're going to see these players. They're so great at adapting.
Chucky Brown gets inside. This is the layup. The Sonics have hit 10 straight three-point baskets in this game. Hersey Hawkins driving, and a foul before the shot.
Chucky Brown in the previous play had an easy opportunity, went up late and got hammered.
This is a downtown game being played in downtown Seattle. Rockets lead with 6:40 to go in a flurry of threes all game. Here's Kenny Smith. And then at the other end,
Hersey Hawkins.
and here's what these teams have done tonight from downtown. Houston 63%, Seattle 75, and the Sonics have hit their last 10 from three-point territory.
It's almost like who will be the first to miss.
Detlef Schrempf in the low post, guarded by Ori. Hawkins penetrating, throws it away.
Hawkins penetrated. Detlef Schrempf set up for the three again, just didn't slide to the baseline. Tough passing angle for Hersey Hawkins.
Payton and Kemp both in there with 3 fouls. So far they've avoided picking up 4 nearly halfway through this third quarter. They go in low to Olajuwon, and they're going to jump it up. Irvin Johnson might have tied up Hakeem. Let's see who Hakeem will jump against. It won't be Irvin because he's coming out of the game replaced by Sam Perkins.
It'll be
Detlef Schrempf.
Hersey Hawkins, I believe. They've got the gap behind them.
Yeah,
Gap behind them, yep.
Illegal defense against the Sonics. That's the third and another technical foul.
One of the things that the Rockets are doing tonight, because of the early double teams, they're holding the ball a little bit longer, exposing it a little bit more, and you'll see more of that as they look at films during the course of this series.
Because the Sonics have been very quick to recover and rotate.
Exactly. Getting there almost too early, which you love to have happen, but you can expose it by holding the ball or moving the ball a little bit slower.
Kenny Smith on the technical, leaves it for Olajuwon. Chucky Brown going baseline, emphatically stuffs it through. Brown now with 8 points, and a 7-point Rocket lead matches their biggest lead of the game, and a turnover will give it back to the Rockets.
Chucky Brown on the baseline, goes hard, uses the rim, jams it home.
So now Houston can establish their biggest lead of the game, and Kemp makes a play, but into the hands of Drexler. And here is Kenny Smith from downtown. Chuck, no one wants to miss from three-point territory, and the Rockets with their biggest lead of the game, 10 points, 5.5 to go in the third. And Carl yet to call a timeout. 10-point lead for Houston, looking to tie the series at a game apiece. And here's Kemp working inside, blocked by Olajuwon, but Schrempf is there to lay it in.
Olajuwon, a terrific defensive job. He had Kemp out of control, got the block. Detlef Schrempf quick to the ball, gets the easy one.
Olajuwon setting an NBA record for career blocked shots late in the season. Blocked one there. Here's Smith with a runner. 72-64, and now the Sonics trying to make a run here with 4:48 to go in the third. Plenty of time on the clock, but Perkins, yes, that's right, downtown, his second.
Spectacular three-point shooting.
11 in a row by the Sonics from downtown brings them to within 5 and a timeout.
Watch Kemp working to get open. Olajuwon on the break, but here comes Detlef Schrempf. Man on the spot.
A look at tomorrow's schedule, courtesy of Chevy. Utah, San Antonio, game 1 at the Alamo Dome.
Well, difficult for Utah to come off a very tough series, a 5-gamer. San Antonio waiting for him. But hey, Utah still has Stockton and Malone.
What about the Knicks and the Bulls in Chicago? The Bulls did not play well, but they won game 1.
Well, Jordan had a sensational game, but Pippen and Kukoc should step up. New York could beat 2 games down after that one tomorrow night.
So don't forget, following the game, Vince Cellini and special guest Rick Mahorn will have all the highlights and interviews from tonight, plus a look ahead at the New York-Chicago series game 2 on Inside the NBA. Crowd and a fevered pitch now for the Sonics, who have made up 5 of the 10-point deficit. Nate McMillan has checked in. Drexler hits a 3. The Rockets have made their last 6 from downtown. The Sonics have connected on their last 11. That's 17 straight from downtown with both clubs.
Rare that you'll ever see a performance like this from the three-point line.
Detlef Schrempf gets it inside to Kemp. Second effort by Sean Kemp, who has 13 points. Schrempf leads Seattle with 16. And it's a 6-point lead for Houston. And Kemp might have gotten hit in the right eye.
Unhappy wanted a foul on the play, but his quick jumping got that second shot.
Olajuwon turnaround from the baseline. Tell you what, Chuck, whoever misses the first 3 is going to have to come out of the game.
They got to be careful that they don't quit looking for 2 inside. That time, Houston went inside, did not convert.
Schrempf, who's the leading scorer for the Sonics, working his way in against Ori, tries to get it to Kemp. And not much room for the pass, so the turnover. And there's Clyde Drexler gliding in for his 17th point. And the Rockets again open up an 8-point lead as we wind down to 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
A great backdoor play by Sandstrom.
I'll tell you, Kemp is doing a number on Olajuwon when he gets it in the low box.
Yeah, Olajuwon does not want to pick up the foul. He's going to lay back because he thinks at a crucial time he can block that shot.
He only has 2 fouls. Here's a fake on Perkins, and Olajuwon has it blocked inside. And Schrempf gets a piece of it. Ori with a wild shot, and Chucky Brown finally converts. Relentless pursuit on the offensive glass by the Rockets. An 8-point lead, and a 20-second timeout is called as Nate McMillan now is on the floor. Sonics call the timeout, 20 seconds.
That's an aggressive board play. Successive shots by the Houston Rockets.
He got hit in the face, and let's see where it happened.
There's Chucky Brown, goes right straight back up and nails him on the chin as he's going back up.
Nate McMillan, who has hit 4 from downtown to account for his 12 points. Schrempf with 16, Kemp with 15, 31 points by the starting forwards. As you look at McMillan's numbers, the Houston Rockets with great balance have 5 players in double figures. The starting 5 led by Clyde Drexler, 17.
Well, here's the question. Are the Rockets going to do it again? Everybody counts them out. Played so poorly. Come back now, have the lead, and we have 14 and 33 to go.
And the Rockets, remember last year, they were down 2-0 to the Suns. Blown out in game 1. We're actually down 3-1 before they came from behind. 8 straight times they have faced elimination in the last 2 years and have answered it successfully. Ball knocked away from Kemp. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Vincent Askew in the game. He'll fire away and hit. That is a 3. That's a 3-point basket according to Hugh Evans. 79-74. Look at this shooting this quarter only for both teams. Under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. And driving to the hoop, Chucky Brown, and a Seattle foul.
With the amount of threes that were made here tonight, you'd think this score would be much higher. 79-74, and all of these raining threes.
You're right. This is a defensive score.
Here's Chucky Brown getting to the basket. He knows he's going to get fouled.
Detlef Schrempf committing the personal foul will send Chucky Brown to the line. You had him, of course, when you coached the New Jersey Nets.
Very athletic player, terrific player to coach. Went back to the CBA, made the All-Star team. Last year gets called up by the Rockets, a 69% shooter from the free throw line, but a very active player.
During the year, he was the 9th best shooter in the league at 54% from the field. Converts 1 out of 2. The lead is 6 for the Rockets with just under 2 minutes to play in the third. Askew posting up against Kenny Smith. And Olajuwon grabbed the rebound. Hakeem now with 13 off the glass. Kenny Smith misses a 3. He breaks the string of 17 three-point baskets by both sides. And a timeout called by the Rockets with 1:24 to go in the third. It is a full timeout. Of his team.
I always believe in the Houston Rockets. They're a team that's proven it to the world. We've been down. We've gone through Choke City, changed it to Clutch City. We've had so many obstacles in front of us where no one in the world believed in us. And they're special guys. This is a tough team. We're playing a very good basketball team. We've got to not only do things physically, we have to have the right mental mindset to get this job done. But I wouldn't put anything past the Houston Rockets.
That's belief and trust, and it also helps to make a lot of threes and have Hakeem Olajuwon in that post.
And Kenny Smith personifies the team coming back. Remember, he was benched earlier this year, didn't complain. He was the hero of Game 4 against the Lakers with 17 points on 6 for 6 shooting. Didn't play much in that series and was scoreless in Game 1 of this one, but he has 10 points this quarter, and the Rockets lead by 6. Mark Bryant, back in the game, had 3 personal fouls in the first half.
You sense that maybe that timeout was to get Hakeem out of there to make sure he got enough rest during the course of this 122 and between periods.
Chucky Brown with 10 on the shot clock. Didn't have control, and Kenny Smith misses a 2, and Sean kept the rebound. Close to a minute to go in the third quarter. 80-74, the Rockets lead. Houston led by 2 at the half. Here's Schrempf having a terrific game. Gets the basket and will go to the line. 18 for Detlef Schrempf.
There are not many forwards who can take you off the dribble like this. Fake. Goes left, gets inside, gets fouled from behind. Another look. Moving left. So dangerous with the ball. He loves to show the ball, get in the line, get to the line, and get in the lane to create for other people.
And a world of playoff experience, first with the Dallas Mavericks and then with the Indiana Pacers, before coming to the Sonics, where he played his college ball here in Seattle at the University of Washington. The foul was on Robert Horry, his second. Mario Elie checks in for the Rockets. Free throw and a three-point play for Detlef Schrempf. He's got 19, and the high scorer in the game is Detlef Schrempf. 19 on the shot clock, under a minute to go in the third. Trapping are the Sonics. Smith, Drexler, Elie, Bryant, and Chucky Brown for Houston. Elie nearly threw it away. 4 on the clock. Kenny Smith line drive doesn't go, and Schrempf with his 8th rebound. And a chance to cut the lead. And they tie it up. Gary Payton with a three-point basket ties the score at 80.
Absolutely phenomenal shooting night from the three-point line. It's almost hard to believe.
Sonics with 13 in a row from downtown. And a whistle. And a foul called against the Sonics with 15.9 on the clock. Clyde Drexler will go to the line. We'll check to see who the foul is on. Vincent Askew apparently called for the personal foul. That's his 3rd.
Fortunately for the Sonics, Kemp and Payton did not pick up their 4th. They're in good shape going into the last quarter.
And they played a good deal of this third quarter, Chuck.
They handled themselves very well. Didn't get any more problems.
18 points for Drexler after 15 in game number 1. And Charles Jones, 13-year veteran, who played 6 minutes, been on 5 different teams in the NBA, has come in for the final seconds of this third quarter. Clyde Drexler with a free throw gives the Rockets a 2-point lead, and the Sonics could play for the final shot.
Going to work the pick and roll with Kemp.
Askew in the lane, off the rim, and that'll do it. The Sonics with 13 three-pointers in a row. It has been a downtown shooting night for both teams. And after 3 quarters of play, the Rockets 82, the Sonics 80. Welcome back to Seattle as the NBA playoffs continue here at Key Arena. 82-80, the Rockets lead as you look at a very tight ball game. Well, they had an earthquake last Thursday. It was 5.4 on the Richter scale, but the way they're shooting the threes, 27 for both teams. 3-point basket so far tonight. What will decide this game, do you think, down the stretch?
Probably inside play.
Doesn't it always?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't always, but here's Schrempf missing a 3. Maybe they'll get tired of it. Look at that. Houston 60% and Seattle 79, including 13 in a row from downtown. Rockets with the ball and a 2-point lead. Start of the fourth quarter. Olajuwon back in the game along with Mark Bryant. Here is Hakeem hitting the jumper from the baseline. Olajuwon now with 13.
This lineup has been effective. They get Bryant on the box. He wheels, and on the weak side, they're getting double teamed on any post up. Gets it to Hakeem for a wide open shot on the other side.
And Kemp and Perkins in the lineup at the same time. Gary Payton working his way against Sam Cassell. And no basket. There's a foul against Cassell before the shot.
This is an area that Payton loves to work. He thinks he can beat anyone down there, and if he can't beat him, in many instances, he does get someone else a good shot.
3 fouls on Sam Cassell. He's playing with that strained right elbow. Injured in the third quarter of game 1. Perkins finds Askew. Uses his body. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Mark Bryant. So it's still Sonics ball as Hersey Hawkins comes back in the game. Hawkins has scored only 3 points in the game. He had 9 in game number 1 and has averaged over 13 in the playoffs as Shawn Kemp goes to the bench.
In reality, not a lot of opportunities, but he can get on a roll, and he certainly can shoot.
Isn't it amazing in a game with all these threes that Hersey Hawkins has just 1 3. Sam Perkins from downtown. Rockets with a 4-point lead and the ball.
Somehow, percentages prevail.
Mario Elie gets it inside to Hakeem. Pass inside to Chucky Brown out of bounds, and it's still Houston's ball. Let's check in with Dick Versace.
George Karl wants the energy levels up. He thinks he has the edge in conditioning. He's telling his guys, I want you to rebound and run, and he's going to scramble them on defense. So look for some more trapping. Back to you, Dick and Chuck.
Cassell open for 3, and Hawkins the rebound. Here's Gary Payton. Perkins picked up by Elie for a moment, and now Olajuwon on the switch. Payton trying to go baseline against Cassell, has it blocked by Olajuwon. Hakeem with his 4th block of the game pulls up at the line and feeds Mark Bryant for the basket, and a lead now of 86-80 for Houston.
Block shots get you out and runs.
Well, no question that the Rockets with a lot more energy. Dick mentioned that George Karl wants his team to have the energy. The Rockets have shown it here. Hawkins leaning in, gets the foul from Kenny Smith. It is Smith's 3rd foul, and we'll take a timeout. We'll be back. In the paint. Kemp with 15 points, Olajuwon with 13, although Hakeem has 13 rebounds. Rebounding is even tonight after that big edge by the Sonics in game one. And you wonder whether it was just an aberration for the Rockets to play as badly as they did, spurred on, of course, by Seattle's defense in the second half of Saturday's game.
Well, I think emotional, physical fatigue is the main reason. It happens often in a series where a team comes out of another series and just can't compete in the opening game. They're competing tonight.
Let's get a report from Dick Versace.
Nate McMillan spent some time in the locker room having his chin stitched up. He has 3 stitches just below the chin there. He should be able to play. Back to you, Charlie and Dick.
Thank you, Richard. Does anyone call you Richard? Hawkins on the free throw line hits the first. Kenny Smith picked up his 3rd foul. This is where McMillan got hit and got those stitches.
Chucky Brown taking the ball up, nips him on the chin, probably got 3 or 4 stitches in that chin.
Hawkins hitting them both, and the Rocket lead is 4. Just about 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the 4th quarter. Seattle led by 3 after 1. The Rockets led by 2 at the half and 2 after 3. Mark Bryant playing a lot tonight, despite his injury that he had suffered earlier in the hamstring. That was Mark Bryant's 12th point tonight. Schrempf driving against Bryant and called for the offensive foul. Detlef Schrempf picking up his 2nd foul.
And the crowd thought it was the other way around, but Bryant has a good matchup. Let's take a look right here. There's the push-off with the elbow to free up space. Good call by the official.
So Bryant doing a good job to take the charge. Bryant averaging nearly 6.5 in the playoffs and has 12 points in the game as Seattle has doubled Houston in the turnover column. Triple team on Hakeem. Smith trying to get it to Cassell for 3. He was open. Tell you, the Rockets moving the ball a lot better tonight than they did in game 1. But they did not convert. Payton leaves it for Hawkins for 3, and he's got it.
Spectacular three-pointer night. Can't say enough about it.
For both teams. And the lead down to 3. You're never going to run away in this game, not with the way they're hitting threes tonight, Chuck. Sonics 16 of 22 from downtown. That's a phenomenal percentage. Kenny Smith goes up and has it stripped away, but Bryant gets it back. And Smith hurrying the shot, misses from the corner.
And all of a sudden, the Rockets have gone cold from outside.
Payton. That's another 3. And Payton with his 3rd from downtown. It's 88-88. As the crowd turning up the volume. Here is Olajuwon off balance, going across the lane. Hakeem Olajuwon with 15 points breaks the tie. Well, every time the Rockets have opened up a lead, the Sonics have answered it mostly with 3-point baskets.
I think at some point you're going to have to stay home a little bit more, not getting so much space.
Schrempf with a hook shot in the lane. Now with 21 points.
These are tough games. This is one of those tough games for coaches where they keep matching free throws. It goes all the way down. See who can handle it. The home court has the advantage, and they pick it up defensively because of the crowd.
It'll be Houston's ball. Clyde Drexler will replace Kenny Smith in the Rockets lineup. So it'll be Drexler, Ellie, Cassell, along with Bryant and Olajuwon. So in effect, a 3-guard lineup for the Rockets.
They're going to play that double low post, Bryant and Olajuwon, which will free up people on the outside.
We have had 20 ties in the game. Olajuwon misses from the corner. And now the Sonics looking to take the lead. Hakeem only 7 of 20 from the field, but he got a lot more than 9 shots in this game.
More than 9 shots and a lot of rebounds.
Payton. Gary Payton with the layup to give the Sonics a lead. .6:31 to go, and Hersey Hawkins hit with the foul and complaining to Paul Mahalik.
Watch Payton, hesitation move, sees the lane, takes it all away.
We'll be back. Hard-fought game with Seattle leading by 2. Join us tomorrow for another playoff doubleheader. We hope for more of the same. 7 Eastern, Game 1, Utah, San Antonio. Then at 9:30 Eastern, Game 2, New York and Chicago. That's tomorrow night on TNT. Dick Versace.
Rudy T is going to give the entire post area to Olajuwon, running what he calls shell. Lets him operate on both blocks. He's going to clear it out there for him. Back to you guys.
In order to do that, he's got to take Bryant out of the game, get shooters.
And a turnover as Mario Elie stepped on the line. The Sonics have their first lead since early in the third quarter when they went up 53-51 and are looking to add to it, leading 92-90. 6:20 remaining in the fourth. That's the run.
Houston's going to have to pick it up defensively.
Payton. That's a 2-point basket for Gary Payton, but it gives Seattle a 4-point lead, and that is their largest lead of the game. They led by 3 in the second quarter. Drexler has it intercepted by Payton.
Drexler on the last 2 handles, turnover, not necessarily all his fault, but puts him in deep trouble at this point.
Payton finds Detlef Schrempf. Good ball movement. Loose ball into the hands of Drexler. And one of those steals by the Defensive Player of the Year, named before the game, Gary Payton of the Seattle Sonics. Here's Olajuwon, gets hit in the face, but traveling called against Hakeem before he went up.
Big defensive play by Detlef Schrempf. Held his position. Hakeem gets called for the travel. Could have been an offensive foul. Puts his shoulder down. Rams gets called for the walk.
So 3 straight turnovers by the Rockets, and now the Sonics looking to open up. Leading by 4 with less than 5.5 to play in the fourth. Hersey Hawkins. And it's a 7-point lead and a timeout called by the Rockets. It's a 15-2 run by Seattle.
Watch the screen by Perkins. Watch Payton work hard to get in the lane. Right there, hold it. Has to help. Leaves Hersey Hawkins wide open. You can run this all night if the guard will get in the lane and force that kind of action to free up the outside shooter.
The 3-point shooting and an amazing 18 for 29 effort by the Sonics. We have had a 17-point swing in less than 12.5 minutes in this game. The Rockets were up by 10, and now the Sonics lead by 7. Mario Elie with a big 3 for the Rockets to silence the crowd with 5 minutes, and that is Ellie's first points of the game.
Also, great execution. Waiting till the defense moves. Here's that pick and roll again. Same play we just saw.
Gary Payton driving in, has it swatted away by Robert Horry, who's in the game along with Olajuwon, Elie, Cassell, 4 on the shot clock, and Nate McMillan hits a 3. Stitches and all, Nate McMillan with his 5th. He is 5 for 5 from downtown, and McMillan came into the game shooting 64% from 3-point territory. So he's in the stratosphere. Illegal defense against the Sonics, and another technical foul as a result.
A lot of time on this clock. A lot of time.
That is the 3rd illegal defense technical called against the Sonics. The most 3-point field goals in a game in the playoffs, 19. The Rockets last year and the Sonics tonight. And we still have 4:18 to go to see the record broken. Meanwhile, the free throw by Sam Cassell is missed. Houston ball.
And all of this with Kemp on the bench. But when the 3-point shot is raining like this, it was very tough to beat at home.
And Olajuwon throws it away. He wanted to go to Robert Horry. And so the defense by Seattle just totally engulfed him. And Hakeem. So the Rockets have turned it over 4 times in the last 6 possessions. And they're in a little bit of trouble here, trailing the Sonics by 7 with 4:08 to go. And Sean Kemp checking back into the game.
You can talk all you want about past history with the Houston Rockets. They lose this game, they've got to win 4 out of 5.
You see the cut on the left cheek of Nate McMillan. So he now will have to be worked on. All McMillan has done tonight, 5 for 5 from downtown.
Looks like a fighter. He's got the chin with the.
Well, I hope they have a good cut man in that corner.
Yeah, really.
Rockets need a stop here. They're going to come down strong and challenge to try to even the series on the road. Sonics have struggled in game 2s in the playoffs, but they have forged in front here. Kemp loses the ball. Turnover into the hands now of Cassell. Here's Ellie for 3. And Olajuwon stole the ball from Sean Kemp and laid it in. So Kemp now has made an errant play at both ends of the floor, and it's a 5-point game.
3:30 to go. Not an insurmountable lead.
17 points, 14 rebounds for Hakeem Olajuwon tonight. Payton coming off on the pick and roll, takes it himself short, and Olajuwon out to Cassell. Here's Cassell going strong to the basket and will go to the line. Cassell fouled, and Hersey Hawkins with his 3rd.
Watch the shot by Ellie. The rebound. Watch Olajuwon work inside, gets the easy 2. And now Cassell goes to the free throw line.
So Cassell on the line tonight. 2 for 4 from the stripe. Now here is where Nate McMillan got hit and suffered the cut. Might have been from the ball, Chuck.
Good. Looks like he got the headbutt right. Yeah, the head got him on the cheek as Drexler tried to go by.
Cassell with 2 free throws, cuts the lead to 3 with 3:15 to go.
Brilliant basketball game. 2 solid clubs. Great leadership. Not afraid of last-minute situations. Don't panic.
Game 3 in Houston Friday night. We'll be there for that one. Game 4 Sunday on NBC. Steal, and they're going to call it a 2-shot foul as Sam Cassell coming up big here with the steal, and will go to the line and a chance to cut the lead to 1.
Cassell made a great play. Watching the steal all the way.
Foul is on Sam Perkins. And here is Cassell. 4 for 6 from the line. So as quickly as the Sonics took the lead, just as we saw with the Rockets before, no lead is safe in this game.
Great playoff experience. Both clubs, particularly Houston, have been here so many times before. They don't panic. They really will work defensively. They have such confidence and trust in each other that they feel they can pull these games out.
1-point lead for Seattle. Last time the Rockets beat the Sonics was in March of '94 at Houston. They have lost 10 in a row. And Mario Ellie committing a foul.
They got caught in a pick and roll and a switch, and then went inside to Schrempf, picked up the free throw, the foul.
Each team has 1 foul to give with 2:40 remaining. Here is Sean Kemp, one-hander. And there is Olajuwon with another rebound. 16 for Hakeem. Cassell 3-on-2. Clyde Drexler can't convert the reverse layup. And that would have given the Rockets lead. So the Sonics back with the ball and the lead still. With 2:20 remaining in the 4th quarter. A brilliantly played game. Spectacular with the 3-point shooting. 2 of the best in the West going at it strong. Sam Perkins, line drive for his 3rd from downtown, and that is a new NBA playoff record for 3-point baskets in a game. 20 of 26 for the Sonics, who lead 103-99. And a timeout called by the Rockets.
Detlef Schrempf forces the double team. Sam Perkins just measures it like a rifleman and slams it home. Rockets have seen that all night long. He wants to see no more.
That's for sure.
Guys, Ori's in the game, I believe. I think they probably got him on Schrempf because they don't want to create that three-point opportunity again. Probably try to stay home here. We'll see. All he needs to stop. You know, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing. Timeouts are 2 and a 20, and Seattle has 1.
Right.
That's not much with 1:46 to go.
Have 1 timeout left, right?
That's not enough.
Yeah.
Let's see if they stay home. We'll watch it.
All right, what do we... ...103-101.
It's unlikely, but watch the Seattle SuperSonics being very aggressive on this inbounds play. They don't have a lot of time. They wasted quite a bit of time before calling the timeout. They could have taken that way back and got the whole clock.
I don't get it.
A little bit of indecision maybe, or maybe they didn't see it. Do we have a picture of that, guys? Of why they waited so long to take the timeout? Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's the problem, getting the ball in at this position on the floor, right there.
What?
Run it back again, all the way back, all the way back. Yeah. Why did it take so long? Or did they have a quick clock?
I don't know.
Oh, I see, it was a rebound. Okay, I got it. They had to get it over half.
103. You said that. They have 1 foul. Yeah.
Seattle has a foul to give. We have what here? A 20 by Houston, and Seattle has 1, correct?
Right.
Okay. Seattle can be very aggressive. They should not foul and stop the clock. They can give it 2 and not get hurt.
Chuck, the Rockets need 2 possessions with 10.1 for the 11th straight time. Congratulations, Nate.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back with more in just a moment. The Sonics go up 2-0 over the Rockets.